Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about bench press grip width and how it affects muscle activation, because this is something people ask about and they don't always understand, and it's important to know these things because particularly if we're trying to maximize hypertrophy in muscles, which is a big part of strength training, we do need to understand these things. And if you guys will look up in the background, I'll be doing 3 different grips from a single workout. It's a normal grip benching, pinkies on the rings with speed bench. You'll see me doing some close grip benching, right, which is all the way by the smooths. And then you'll see me doing some illegal wide benching for higher reps. And every single one of these activate the muscles of the chest differently. They activate it differently. And it affects different parts of the strength curve. It affects different parts of the hypertrophy of the muscle. So most people will say things like, well, a closed grip bench is a tricep exercise and a wide grip bench is a pec exercise. And that's not entirely true. There is a degree of truth to it. However, you cannot remove any of these 3 muscles from the bench press. They are all primary movers no matter what you do. Although somehow gym bros manage to de-emphasize their pecs when they bench pretty often, and it's quite comical how much work they go through to do it. But the pectorals, the anterior deltoids, and the triceps will all be primary movers on the bench press, and you cannot change that fact. They are all used. They all get significant stimulation. Right? They all get significant stimulation. In other words, if bench press was the only exercise you did, all 3 of those muscles would grow. Now, however, they would not grow proportionately. They wouldn't grow proportionately. And you have different people's anatomy to think about. So the general trend that we see is that a couple of things happen as we get wider or narrower on the bench. And I'm just showing you guys 3 different grips today up in the background, 3 different grips. You can use more than 3 different grips. I have up to 5 different grips that I coach for lifters, and we'll max on all 5 of those grips. If I have a lifter who doesn't have much equipment, they don't have bands, chains, specialty bars, we'll do that. But it's a sliding scale. So when people say, oh, well, this is a tricep exercise, this is a pec, no, it's a continuum. All of those muscles are used. Now, what we know is that the wider you go, the more the middle and particularly the lower chest gets used on a bench. Now, we are assuming you're set up tight. When I say that, we're assuming you're using a little bit of an arch, right? That's something people don't know. Actually, not arching, trying to bench flat back can actually slightly reduce chest involvement. So can bouncing the bar off your chest. So ironically, when you see some of the bodybuilding gym bros who say the bench doesn't work the chest at all, and you watch them bench, they bench flat back and they bounce the bar off their chest. It's like, well, you have found a way to turn a major chest exercise. You found a way to try to take your chest out of it. Congratulations. You worked really hard at removing your chest, and now you notice you don't feel that much chest on it. But how hard did you have to work to do that? Like, how bad did your form have to be? Right? You don't bench flat back. You don't bench without an arch. You need an arch. And if you're not, you don't know how to bench. And I'm talking for basic injury prevention. Benching flat back is bad for your shoulders. Right? It's bad for your shoulders. You need an arch. And then most people realize that a slight decline works more chest. Right? So I'm assuming you're pausing or at least light touching going when making these statements, and you have a little bit of an arch. So we need that caveat there. All right? You work more lower chest the wider you go. All the way out until we get out to illegal wide, to where, again, you're outside the rings like you see me doing on some of it. Pretty much almost to the J-hooks. You can almost pinch yourself re-racking. Right? Illegal wide. Again, a lot of lower chest activation. Which, by the way, you need to be very careful when you do this version. You need to know what you're doing. It's not, you don't play around with this because it can compromise your shoulders. The wider we go, the less technically the triceps get emphasized. That doesn't mean that you don't need strong triceps. If you're struggling with the lockout, Even on a wide grip bench, you better bring your triceps up. Okay, better bring them up. As we bring the grip in, the emphasis moves further up the chest. And again, we need to understand this means emphasis and continuum, not absolutes. You don't stop using your lower chest just because we go closer grip. You don't stop using your upper chest just because you do a wide grip. Again, misconceptions. Not based on reality. Your upper pec still gets used on the wide grip. We are changing the emphasis a bit. Right? Changing the emphasis a bit. As we go closer and closer, it shifts the focus gradually more from the lower chest towards the upper chest. Well, what does that mean? That means a close grip bench is a good upper chest exercise. Some people are not aware of this. Right? They think, well, the incline's the only... No. A close grip bench is actually a quite good upper chest exercise. You can actually get a lot of upper chest from it. It fits into upper chest specialization. If that's something that's really important to you, close grip benching should be a staple. Okay. As we go closer, we use a little bit more anterior deltoid because it has to take over for the lower pec some. And we use more tricep. Now, that's usually lateral and medial head to some extent, not the long head. The long head doesn't get that activated on the bench. So if you want long head, you're going to probably need to train it a little more. The rest of the tricep, though, a lot of emphasis, all of it involved in elbow extension. But again, we take the tricep through a longer range of motion. Now, if you look at the illegal wide, it's obvious why the tricep's not getting hit as hard. We're not stretching it at the bottom. On a closed grip, we actually stretch the tricep at the bottom. The range of motion is longer on the tricep itself, much longer at the joint, not just the bar traveling, because range of motion goes down as we go wider. But we are losing elbow bend. We don't bend the elbows completely when we go real wide. Therefore, the tricep cannot be worked as hard through its full range of motion. And as we go to a closer and closer grip, we tend to get more bend of the elbow. So we put a deeper stretch on the tricep. So it makes sense in that context. Now, the other thing to think about is when we're looking at these things as accessories. If you're really weak out of the bottom of the bench, that really, really wide grip will help with that, won't it? Because it puts the pecs into a deeper stretch, right at the point where you break off the chest. Okay? Joint angle specificity is involved. It hypertrophies fibers that are more specific to that area. Well, what about the close grip? Well, the close grip actually works more of the chest that's involved with the lockout because we overemphasize that. Think about what happens at the top of a close grip bench. You're squeezing your chest together up near the top. We are working a more contracted position. That matters for movement pattern carryover for strength. So that's one of the reasons that the closed grip bench helps with the lockout so much. That's another reason that doing more tricep work helps with the lockout, because it helps you get stronger at the closed grip. And if you get stronger at the closed grip, you get stronger at the lockout on your wide grip. Right? This is why it's kind of important to understand these things. It's also important that if you want complete muscle development in something like your pecs, using multiple grips is beneficial to you. It's beneficial because it changes the emphasis to different parts of the chest. And added together, we get more total hypertrophy. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.